Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambeau channel, and humans are interesting creatures, aren't they? I think so. I'm pretty interesting. How about bias? How about human bias? Is that interesting? Especially as it pertains to the world of crypto, where, well, like, I sure as hell would say yes. You can find all sorts of people in the world of crypto, let's say specifically the world of Bitcoin. And a lot of them would be Bitcoin maximalists. They'll tell you Bitcoin is going to replace the entire global financial system. Okay? That's a bold freaking claim. It's never going to happen, but it's a bold claim. Now, in the XRP community, and mind you, XRP is my largest crypto holding. XRP is my favorite crypto. It's amazing technologically. It's actually functionally getting used today. I am pro XRP. Not for ideological or emotionally based reasons. It's just based on the facts that are available to me at this point. But it's not going to be all things to all people and all businesses, so on and so forth. And so there are people in the XRP community that will say stuff along the lines of what you expect from Bitcoin maxis say, except for about XRP. XRP is going to replace the global financial system. And some of them start to get into like conspiracy theory, tinfoil hat crap. I do not like that nonsense. I really don't. I just want a level-headed approach to what's going on. I want to believe whatever's true. And both of those extremes, those are pretty far out there claims. They don't make sense, and they're a result of bias of humans. And so I want to break down what's actually going on here, because I just see it differently. Like, Bitcoin has been amazing. XRP certainly is amazing. And the legacy financial system is not ever going to go away. But it doesn't mean it always looks like it does today. So it's an interesting conversation here. But I just want to be a realist. You know me, like, I am Mr. XRP Bull here. Has nothing to do with that, so I don't want this to come across the wrong way. But there's so much amazing stuff going on with XRP and what Ripple and other developers are doing to position XRP to have real utility for decades and beyond. Like, that's amazing enough how it's functionally getting used. We don't need pie in the sky nonsense stuff. XRP doesn't have to be the sole source of how people pay for stuff and move money around the planet in the future. And that's not going to happen. Like, that's pie in the sky nonsense stuff. It's just not going to happen. So let's be grounded in reality. I'm encouraging that. Let's be grounded in reality. I still think most of the people that are really out there, they probably just don't listen to my channel because they want to be fed this stuff about, when you hear stuff like, it was always XRP, or it was never going to be Bitcoin. You can say, like, what does that mean? It just, if you don't think about it on the surface, that sounds super deep, but it doesn't mean a damn thing. And you see so many people in the community say stuff like that, and I just kind of chuckled to myself. I'm like, all right, there you go. You go ahead with that bogus narrative there. But to be clear, I don't have a financial background of any kind, by the way. I'm not offering financial advice, and so you should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write, just to be super duper clear. I just enjoy talking about these topics. It's fun for discussion. And I appreciate ideas that are different than my own, so I don't want anyone to be offended by anything I say. I always want to be careful, because I know humans are silly little fickle creatures, and if you hear an idea that is an idea that's different than your own, and it's really important to you, you may feel like you're personally being attacked. Well, I'm not attacking you. I'm just sharing with you what I think, and if I disagree with you, you disagree with me, we should still be able to be friends here. But take a look at this article from the Daily Hot. No turning back as Bitcoin and crypto set to replace current financial system, says Coin Bureau. And I saw the headline before I even read it, and I was like, here we go. Here we go. Widely followed crypto influencer and host of Coin Bureau says that there's, quote, no turning back, end quote, as the crypto sector erodes the entire current financial system. In a new video, the pseudonymous trader who goes by Guy lists some key factors allowing Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies to reshape the existing financial sector. Guy notes that with the increasing concerns of inflation and currency debasement, investors around the world are starting to take notice of Bitcoin's scarcity, as well as its upside potential relative to gold. And by the way, I've made these same arguments. These are legit arguments. The degree to which the United States dollar and other fiat currencies the world over are being debased is disgusting. And the thing about this is we've actually seen this movie before. So anytime there's been a global reserve currency in the history of mankind, that position has been ruined by abuse of those in charge of managing that monetary system. And so what's happened, it also, it's what's happening now. It's debasement of the curry, printing into oblivion, this type of stuff, just poor management, complete mismanagement is a better way to just be a little more precise. And that's what we're seeing. So we know how this movie ends. If nothing changes, that's how the movie ends. I'm not saying that we're going to see some sort of dollar collapse necessarily in my lifetime, but outside of something dramatically changing to fix this, which I don't see any signs of that, at least as I'm recording this in April of 2021, outside of that, yeah, it's going to happen. I don't know that's going to happen within my lifetime or yours, and I'm 37 years old. I don't know. I don't pretend to know for sure. I'm just saying this is not sustainable what has happened. So that's a completely legitimate argument. And so, hedging your bets, getting into cryptocurrency for a number of reasons, especially if you find it appealing to own something that the government can't control, it can't be debased. There's encryption on it. It's just it's computer code that ensures there's a finite supply. All that's very appealing stuff. That makes all the sense in the world. But it doesn't mean it's going to replace what's the current system that we have in place now, which I'll explain. But let me read this quote from Coin Bureau. This makes Bitcoin an optimal hedge against inflation, and this hedge seems to be the reason why so many institutions have started to buy Bitcoin recently. 40% of all U.S. dollars in existence were printed last year to keep the core of the economy lurching along, and that's the end of that quote. And now there is something to that. So it's not like all of these ideas are terrible. I'm not trying to make that claim either. Yeah, institutions do recognize that via inflation, their treasury reserves are just getting eaten away. And that doesn't make sense. And so if you look historically, now that there actually is a bit of history with Bitcoin specifically, that seems like right or wrong, it seems like the surest bet, the surest winner, even if just as a store of value, because standards matter, and so maybe it will be. And I'd prefer that Bitcoin be around forever, even if that means it's always number one in market cap. That's fine. XRP is still my favorite, but I don't need it for. I don't need XRP to be number one in market cap to like prove its worth. Like I don't need that. It would be great if it happened because it's my biggest holding, but I don't need that. Anyway, the analyst observes that with the C-19 restrictions keeping businesses shuttered, many people don't have the choice to spend their savings or stimulus money on anything except tradable assets like stocks and crypto, speeding up the adoption of Bitcoin. And here's another quote. This likewise leaves consumers with no options but to save their stimulus money or invest it in assets. Individuals and institutions have consequently been accumulating Bitcoin like mad, with PayPal and Square collectively buying 100% of all newly mined Bitcoin in March of this year. Well, as far as institutions, how they're behaving, cryptocurrency getting snatched up, diversification, that's happening, but the rest of what he said is wrong. People are spending money on stuff. That is undeniably true. Now, the United States economy certainly is not producing like it was before the C-19 scare, but stuff is certainly getting snatched up here. But anyway, so look, this idea that Bitcoin's going to replace it. No, here's what's really going to happen, because you got to understand. You're not going to have nations the world over that are willing to give up their monetary sovereignty. This is simply not going to happen. So there is no crypto that's going to replace the existing monetary system. Not Bitcoin, not XRP, not any crypto. There will always be fiat currencies. They will always be abused to some degree or another. They will collapse. Many of them will collapse and new ones will pop up. But nations will continue to want to be in charge of their own monetary policy. And even if cryptocurrencies end up at some point widely being used to purchase stuff rather than fiat currency, that doesn't mean that they replace the entirety of the global financial system. That means that they would be a piece of it. But different people are going to buy stuff with different assets. Even so, there might not even be necessarily one cryptocurrency that would be used for these purposes. And so it doesn't mean that Bitcoin's going to replace the system or XRP is going to replace the system. I'll look at XRP specifically. It's not designed like this wasn't the goal. Like XRP was designed to be a better version of Bitcoin. Just ask David Schwartz, who's one of the creators of it. It was designed to be a better version of Bitcoin. He's an early Bitcoiner, and he loved Bitcoin. He thought it was neat, thought it was pretty cool, but he saw some deficiencies in the way it was designed and just wanted to build a better version, and so he did. That's XRP. That's what it became today. But still, it isn't the intent of the developers the world. I'm not aware of a developer the world over that is pushing for XRP to replace everything, because what does that functionally mean? You do understand what that means, right? No monetary sovereignty for any nation. XRP used to purchase everything the world over, and no other asset. Like if you're talking about truly replacing that like no, that's not. That's a fantasy land. But you don't need the fantasy land for XRP to be tremendously valuable. It is tremendously valuable. And value is different than price. Yes, it's got a high price right now, and it's just been going up lately. But value, I'm speaking about utility. Utility, just the fact that there is utility, that is what makes something valuable, which again is different than an open market price. I always like to distinguish between the two. And so I don't see any indication it's going to be going away anytime soon. Hopefully it never does, because again, XRP is my very personal fave. So that's true. But you look at this, for instance, I pulled up, this is a Quora question from February of 2019. Will XRP replace fiat money? Well, again, my answer to that is, if people want, some people are using it instead of fiat, so like in that sense, yes, it's just not in any sort of meaningful way. Like there's some people doing that, and that's great if they want to do it. I'm not disparaging the thing. Yeah, go ahead, of course. I'm just saying it's barely any humans on the planet, and almost no humans use XRP. XRP is not liquid. It's also extremely volatile, which makes it not exactly ideal to use in place of money. Same for Bitcoin. So until the volatility dies down, you're not going to see any sort of major adoption for that use case, but the volatility will die down as more liquidity is injected into the space. And that has been happening. It's been happening for a decade. So we'll continue edging closer and closer to that. And organically, yes, I do think some of these cryptocurrencies will be used instead of fiat currency, but it doesn't mean that fiat currencies go away. XRP by Ripple is being positioned as a bridge currency, which is its most famous use case to date. But even at scale, globally, completely, let's say it completely replaces SWIFT, you're still just talking about XRP as a bridge currency. That doesn't mean that it's replacing anything. It doesn't mean that the rest of the way that governments around the world have their systems in place, which they control individually, like it doesn't mean that it's replacing. Like this is crazy talk. It really is. It's nonsense. And so I just want to live in reality here. And reality looks pretty damn good for XRP. It really does. Reality is just fine. The water's warm. Come on in. Get out of the crazy pool. Jump into the reasonable pool right over here with Moon Lambo. And let's just like, just I don't know, hang out in a tub with a freaking margarita. I don't care. We can talk crypto stuff, right? But the way that so many people are approaching this stuff is pure silliness to me. And so you can see here, somebody named Sean, I'm not going to read this, it's on your screen if you actually care to take a look at it, but there's a response to, will XRP replace fiat money? And at the top it says, XRP World Reserve Currency 2020 through 2025. And by the way, that was written in 2019. And I saw that, I was just like, here we go. It's one of these people. Again, nothing against him personally, no idea who Sean is. The idea is bad. I challenge the idea. The idea is awful. Now, mind you, a cryptocurrency could certainly become a global reserve currency, but even at that, you're still talking about a shift of a change in the existing monetary system, not a complete and utter replacement. And it doesn't mean it's going to be XRP. It doesn't mean it's going to be Bitcoin, because frankly, you're talking about decentralized cryptocurrencies that can be used for anything. And so if something's going to take that place, well, it better be very, very liquid. I don't know that you're necessarily there yet with any of these cryptocurrencies. And then technical attributes could be a strong consideration, I would think, including what happens on layer 2. Is Lightning Network ever going to work, for example? And by the way, if so, it'll work for most cryptocurrencies in existence. I think most people don't realize that Lightning network is not specifically for Bitcoin. You're talking about payment channels here. Yeah, it would work for just about any cryptocurrency on the planet. So it doesn't, just by the fact of Lightning Network existing, even if it functionally was useful today, which it's not, it doesn't give Bitcoin some sort of monstrous leg up. That's not how this all works here. So again, all this to say, XRP could be globally adopted in a major and important way. It could be a bridge, and it could make a SWIFT obsolete. Maybe SWIFT, I don't know if they'll ever stop existing. Maybe you still want a second option for movement, and so maybe some of those corridors remain open, or a lot of them. I don't know. But we don't need 100% dominance of XRP for it to be incredible in terms of long-term viability and price action. We don't need that. I just want a bigger crypto space in general, frankly, here. And so, hopefully, and I think this is the case, I think most people don't want to believe like the tinfoil hat stuff. I think most people just want to be in line with whatever reality is and just understand it. And so whether I'm right or wrong, at least I'm trying to do my best to be grounded in reality instead of making these hyperbolic statements that, XRP it's gonna replace the global reserve. XRP to $35,000. XRP, it will make you toast in the morning and everything else you ever desire. Like, no, I ain't got no damn time for that stuff. And then trashing Bitcoin on top of it, just say, like, I like to joke about Bitcoin's technical inefficiencies, but I like Bitcoin. Like, I am just having a little fun with it. I like Bitcoin, though. But all these comments about Bitcoin, like, if your argument is that because of its technical attributes, it's not going to be around forever, I think that's a poor argument. There are better arguments out there against Bitcoin. But, as far as store value, it may be around forever. I don't know for sure, Maybe people in 100 years back will be listening to this and be like, well, it's, frankly, 100 years from now, it's going to be a bit more obvious, but I don't know. I simply don't know. Is the fact that humans care about standards, is that enough for Bitcoin to maintain its position purely because it's the first? Well, for 12 years it has. That may persist. I don't know for sure. It's just interesting because beyond that, it's not driving any additional value, which is the primary beef I've had with it, which is providing a certain level of uncertainty for me. But the more time passes, the more I'm like, well, the market seems pretty damn sure. I'm not going to be, imagine another 25, 50 years pass. Am I going to have that same question? Well, no. At some point, it's just going to be clear that, increasingly clear, and it always is, the more time passes, it becomes increasingly clear that Bitcoin's here to stay. And that's fine. It still can't do what XRP does because it's technologically deficient for those use cases. But as a store of value, maybe it's going to be here. But even if so, that doesn't mean that it's replacing the existing financial system. That is not how this works. It's childish thinking, it's unsophisticated, and it's resulting from bias in what you want the world to look like because you have heavy bags of Bitcoin or you have heavy bags of XRP. I just want to live in reality. That's it. So you can tell me if you think I'm right, if I'm wrong. I just think it's a fun topic for conversation, and I'm willing to be persuaded for sure, but this is how I feel at this exact moment in time. But I'll tell you, I haven't been in the space now for about 3.5 years. My views, they do shift over time. And it usually, it's really not dramatic shifts, but, learning new things and seeing how things unfold over time. Yeah, it's slowly, I can start to adjust how I feel about things. And if you've been listening to me since I started this channel, which was mid-December 2018, I'm pretty much the same in terms of the way I'm outlooking, but there have been some shifts. The more time passes, the more I'm confident in Bitcoin, the better understanding I have about how the crypto space is going to potentially unfold, what adoption increasingly might look. There's all sorts of things, but you always want to be in a position where you're willing to be persuaded. You don't want to say, no, this is what I believe, and no matter what data is presented to me, I'm still going to say that I believe it. No. If you want to believe as many true things in life as possible, you should not take that position. I don't care what the topic is. You need to be an open-minded individual, and so I always am. And so this is the way that I'm looking at this, and sometimes there's so much of this silliness about XRP becoming a global reserve, this or that. It irritates me, and it's not because I'm saying that XRP or Bitcoin can't fulfill that role. It's because I'm saying there's no indication that that's going to happen or that it would be one of those two. It could be any cryptocurrency or cryptocurrencies. Maybe we have more than one that's fulfilling similar roles. But there's no evidence that's going to happen, and that it's going to, and even then, it doesn't mean it's replacing the entire global financial system. People just say this stuff if they have a bias. That's the truth. That's why I see it. If you're saying something like this, and you're saying, yeah, this is going to happen, XRP global reserve, you've got a strong bias because there's no indication that's going to happen. There just isn't. I'm not saying it won't happen, but holy hell, why that one out of the 8,000 plus cryptocurrencies? It's so early in the world of crypto. This is a nascent asset class, and you're going to be so bold as to claim that's going to happen? So the USD, it crashes, it goes away forever, and then it is XRP out of the 8,000 plus cryptocurrencies because reasons? We know this for sure? That's too much. Guys, that's too much. I'll wrap up there, though. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Nambo.